atrunājušas un uzdevušas risināt attiecīgi stundu plānošanas tātad uzdevumu, ko šī ir atsevišķa zinātne. Mēs paši šajā jomā nelecam, bet mēs ilgi esam meklējuši labus risinājumus, un šobrīd tādu esam atraduši. Tad šis risinājums ir Skolaris, kur līdz šim ir bijuši ļoti pretīgi nākoši, gan izstrādājot risinājumus priekš mums, un ar viņiem ir bijis ļoti veiksmīga sadarbība. Cerams, ka tā arī turpināsies. Un cerams, ka attiecīgi šis risinājums būs noderīgs jums. Tad sākšu uzreiz. Parādīšu jums ekrānu. Sākšu ar E-klases pusi par Skolaris. Tātad E-klasē ir pieejama sadaļa, saucās Skolaris. Šī sadaļa ir pieejama tikai iestādēm, kas mums ir palūguši attiecīgi pieeju, tad mēs to pieslēdzam un detalizētajos iestījumos to ir iespējams aktivizēt. Un tad var nonākt uz Skolaris sadaļu, kur attiecīgi ir caur kuru iespējams saņemt importa kodu priekš Skolaris, kā arī veikt pēdējos uzstādījumus pirms datu nodošanas. Lai tam būtu jēga un būtu dati, ka nodot, tad tā ideja ir tāda, ka gada sākuma, gatavojot jauno mācību gada E-klasē, tiktu ievadīta attiecīgi skolāna informācija, tad tiktu veikt jau imports no vīzes, kā piemēram, vai, ja kāds vēlas ar roku savada. Ir darbinieki, ir priekšmeti, ir žurnāli, žurnāliem ir piesaistīti pedagogi, un attiecīgi šis ir tas pamat informācija, ar ko Skolaris var strādāt. Lai pasākums ritētu raitāk un būtu vienkāršāks, un Skolarisā būtu ar ko strādāt, ļoti svarīga vienība informācijas ir nodarbību skaits periodā. Un mēs ilgi domājam, kā to atrisināt, lai atvieglot šo darbu, tad mēs esam izveidojuši iespēju norādīt nodarbību skaitu periodā, kas pēc noklusējuma periods šeit domāt ir nedēļa. Skolarisā iekšā ir iespējams pamainīt šos nosacījumus kādam priekšmetam vai varbūt pat visiem, ka tie norisināsies reiz 2 vai 3 nedēļās šo periodu mazliet pamainīt, bet standartā pēc noklusējuma tas ir nedēļa. Un arī iekšā E-klase šī uzstādījuma tā ir nedēļa. Tātad un tas, kā mēs esam nolēmuši censties palīdzēt, ir tas, ka, protams, var ar roku savadīt, cik kuram priekšmetam, kurai klasē ir jānorit nedēļas laikā. Bet mūsu doma bija tāda, ka iepriekšējos gados jūs jau esat veikuši milzīgu darbu, un jūs jau sasādījuši šos stundu sarakstus, tie varētu būt diezgan precīzi pēc nepieciešamībām. Līdz ar to šī ir jauna testa skola, un tai nav iepriekšējie mācību gadi, bet šeit ir ideja, ka jūs varat izvēlēties mācību gadu, izvēlēties kādu konkrētu nedēļu, kur jūs uzskatāt, ka tā ir bijusi tātad ar pareiziem uzstādījumiem, kāds jūs bijāt veikuši, un sistēma ielasīs konkrētos žurnālus un priekšmetus no šiem piemēriem, un attiecīgi jau aizpildīs šos sarakstus par to, kā jūs bijāt veikuši konkrētajā nedēļā, konkrētajā mācību gadā. Un tad jūs šīs izmaiņas varat saglabāt, un tad šī informācija arī aizies uz Skolaris. Šeit jūs varat nokopēt kodu, kur var nodot Skolarisam, un caur šeien var pieslēgties Skolarisam. Par Skolaris pusi tad es šobrīd nodošu vārdu Martinam, kur viņš iepazīstinās ar sistēmu. Es atvainojos, ka es tā izskrēju cauri, bet šim visam, tad, protams, mēs vēl varēsim pieskarties un pie tā atgriezties, un mēs būsim jums pieejami gan palīdzībām, gan jautājumiem. Bet es nevēlējos vairāk aizņemt laiku ar E-klases pusi, jo tā salīdzinoši ir mazākā lieta šajā vienādojumā. Un Skolaris varētu būt interesantāk paklausīties. Tā kā es nododu vārdu Martinam, kurš tad iepazīstinās ar sistēmu. Martin, the floor is yours. Please introduce us to Skolaris and its wonderful possibilities.
Hello, everyone. My name is Martin. and I'm a co-founder and head of research and development at Skolaris. Thank you, Carlis, for the introduction. Let me share my screen. Before I show you how to work with your E-Klase data in Skolaris, let me start with a brief presentation about what we're trying to do here and what's the motivation and what can Skolaris do for your school. Hey, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Excellent. So welcome again. To start with, we'll talk about what is the timetable and why a good timetable even matters. So this is just some kind of review of what you already know, but I feel it's important to mention at the start. So why does a good timetable matter? Well, it makes everyday school life for everyone at the school smoother. Everyone's going to be happier if their needs are requested. So, for example, teachers will have more requests granted. They'll have fewer long gaps in their daily schedules, allowing them to go home sooner, perhaps. And they will have a fairer distribution of early and late lessons. That is in a good timetable. What do teacher requests mean? Well, also everybody knows that very well. Some teachers might ask for a specific day off. They might ask for any 2 days off in a week if they're a part-time teacher, for example. They might ask for a specific morning or just any morning off or specific afternoon or any afternoon off to pick up kids from kindergarten and so on. Also, we have had cases about teachers who were actually pensionists and they asked for teaching on consecutive days so that they could organize their free time better and so on. Students benefit, on the other hand, from balanced days, um, where a healthy mix of subjects has a positive impact on engagement, attention, and alertness in class. Everybody knows the situation when they have to sit for an English and German class um, in sequence, and then in German, English words pop up, and in English, German words pop up, and it's not a good situation. The same with the science classes like physics and chemistry should probably not follow each other, and so on. So these are some, let's say, signs of a healthy timetable for students. Rooms should not be forgotten. Um, Effective use of rooms can help teaching and learning through use of equipment. Good examples are language classes with headsets in only specific rooms, or a chemistry lab only being available for a limited time. And you should make sure that, for example, every class group has at least one lesson of chemistry in the lab. Same with physics, which is very difficult to handle manually, and Skolaris can definitely help you with this kind of setup too. So We now know that we need a good timetable, but it is hard. Why is it hard? Well, a timetable in itself is an optimization problem, and we need to place very, very many lessons, thousands of lessons usually, into a tight schedule, which is a week, with usually 5 or 10 days, and let's say 8 periods a day. And these lessons have limited resources. We don't have unlimited teachers and we don't have unlimited rooms. So we need to schedule these lessons into the available time slots while respecting that a teacher cannot be at the same time in two places, and two class groups probably shouldn't be in the room at the same time, and so on. But also we have to respect some preferences, restrictions, and legal limits, as well as striving for fairness of the timetable for teachers, balance for students, and respecting some practical realities. Now, all of this together makes it a very difficult optimization problem. Mathematically, it's in the realm of exponential difficulty, with the number of combinations being probably larger than the number of particles in the universe. So any kind of brute force approach will fail quickly. That is simply not possible to enumerate all combinations and hope for a good result. So people have built tools, manual tools, sticky notes, spreadsheets, semi-manual software. They can help, but they ultimately struggle with the fact that there are simply too many constraints to track. And these include those restrictions, legal limits, fairness, and so on. Also, the tools lack the ability to evaluate the quality of the timetable. Usually, your software doesn't tell you how good the timetable is. It is able to tell you that there's a clash, but it won't tell you if the timetable is good or bad. That is entirely up to your visual inspection. Also, the traditional shortcoming is fitting in all the lessons in the timetable. You've probably encountered the case when your favorite tool put in 98% of all the lessons in the timetable, but then the rest it wasn't able to place. And that was the most difficult thing to do. And that was left to the timetabler to figure out. So how Skolaris helps? It brings a modern optimization approach to timetable creation based on mathematics and not some black magic or just hope thinking. First of all, it has smart evaluation. We have over 70 different rules that can be configured, and the school can define what good means. When the school does that, then Skolaris also knows what a good timetable is, and that is a prerequisite for finding a timetable, knowing what a good timetable is. We provide powerful optimization using modern local search algorithms based on university research. And we provide high probability of finding feasible timetables in complex situations. And also reduction of defects like poor course distribution, long idle times, bad room assignments, all depending on configuration of the school. And we do provide some meaningful defaults, so don't worry. If you think you can do better, well, would you beat modern chess software or AlphaGo at what they do? Let's see some, sorry, I skipped a slide there. Skolaris is also interactive and intuitive, so we do respect the timetabler's knowledge, and the timetabler can definitely use their knowledge to place lessons with just simple drag and drop. We provide real-time visualization of the timetable so that it can be closely inspected. And also, anytime new requirements are entered, you can restart the optimization of the timetable from the point it is at. So you don't start from scratch when you make a mistake and need to add some lessons, remove some lessons, add a class group, or add a requirement, and so on. Skolaris is flexible for changing needs. You can adjust constraints for different scenarios. For example, you can try to generate a timetable that is biased towards teacher request satisfaction, and you can try to generate a timetable that is biased towards the best possible student balance. And then you can choose which one best suits your own requirements or the preferences of your school. Some more features. We are web-based without compromise. Everything runs within a browser. It doesn't matter what operating system you use. You can also use it on tablets or mobiles, although beware that running the optimization will quickly drain your battery. So you can use them for viewing your data, but we recommend using a real computer for the actual calculations. With the web-based paradigm comes natural multi-user access, permissions, stuff that you would expect. We integrate with E-Klase, which I think you already guessed, and we can also import from ASC Timetables XML file, which seems to be a quite popular format in Central and Eastern Europe. The finished timetable can be exported to PDF for printing or spreadsheet for further tinkering. We can also publish it for teachers, students, and parents who do not have to have an account in Skolaris in order to see their completed timetable. This is optionally password protected if you're worried about your privacy. We also provide built-in cover management with some reporting, should you want to use Skolaris for your daily routine. And also the good thing about being web-based is that we have monthly feature updates, and all users always use the latest and best version there is. Just a quick example of some real-world results of the optimization. There was a technical college with about 1,000 students, 40 class groups. They were kind enough to provide us with their data as well as their manually created timetable. And we ran the optimization in Skolaris. Well, the interesting thing was that we actually uncovered some problems in their manual timetable that they probably weren't aware of. And those were some lessons at unavailable times. Typically, these would be times where the teacher said they wouldn't actually be teaching, they would be out of school, but still they had some lessons there. So I don't know how they coped, but with Skolaris, these problems simply went away. Also, there was a better room assignment and better course distribution. And the timetable in Skolaris was completed within 2 hours, whereas manually it took them 240. We're used by different kinds of schools in the Czech Republic. That's about half of our customers, and also worldwide in many different countries in Europe and also in other continents. So that was just a brief introduction, and without further ado, let's switch to a demonstration. So here I'm logged into my Skolaris account, and I will start by importing the data that Carlos has already shown in E-Klase. So I just go to import from MIS, choose E-Klase, and put in the API key that was shown on the setup page. Let's go import. And you can see the import was successful. So I'll go back to the dashboard. And here I'm going to choose that organization which was important. Which was imported. And that's Skolaris Testa Skola. Just to prove to you that I'm not making this up, this was actually created right now in my time zone. So this is not something that we prepared. This is real import that we just did. Now the first thing that we need to do is actually, let me just review a little bit what we've imported. So we've imported some class groups. Inside these class groups, we imported some students and also some courses and lessons. This is basically what you've set up in E-Klase before doing the import here. We've also imported those teachers and subjects and so on. In order to create a timetable, we usually have to do many steps, but here it's going to be really easy. The first thing we need to tell Skolaris is our weekly structure. So we don't have any time slots here, but if I just go to the list of time slots and click populate, a nice default matrix will appear for me, and that will be enough for the purpose of the demo. We've got 5 days, Monday to Friday, and 9 periods a day. Then, of course, we can do much more configuration of different teaching limits for class groups and teachers. But let's go with our, let's say, reasonable defaults and try to create a timetable directly. Skolaris will lead us into a tool called the Timetable Creation Wizard. Just skip through this very quickly. We'll do some data checks. You can see everything's okay. This is some constraint configuration. We will just stick with the defaults and run some analysis. This analysis will give us the first, let's say, impression of whether we did a good job putting in the data. Now, in the case of E-Klase import, you can be pretty sure that we did do a good job of putting in the data because the data was put in automatically by the system itself from your tested E-Klase source. So probably because you're already running the school, the data should make sense. And indeed, no problems were detected. And the next step is just to name the timetable. I'm just going to put in test. And finally, we'll try to find the timetable. Now, first of all, we need to find the clash-free timetable, which has just happened. And second, we need to optimize it to make some sense. You can see it's not very nice now. It looks very irregular, but the beauty of the gradual optimization that Skolaris does is that it actually incorporates all the soft constraints gradually. So you will see it morph before your eyes and get into shape, let's say. In other words, soft constraints make sure that all the days will have regular duration, and also soft constraints make sure that everybody's going to start at the same time. We can just have a look at some other class groups just to demonstrate this is really doing the whole timetable for the whole school and not just a single class group. So in this kind of data set, we have 12 different year groups and all these different class groups. Let's have a look, for example, at year 10. So, and we can see in 10B that it's already done a pretty good job in making the timetable regular and balanced. By balance, I also mean the distribution of courses throughout the week. Like, for example, this purple one on Monday morning, you can see there are 4 lessons in a week, and they have been distributed to 2 different days. Also, if I can point out Monday 6, this green one, Lil, this has only 2 occurrences a week, and they've been distributed so that they're not on consecutive days. So if they were on consecutive days, this would be a broken constraint, and Skolaris would try to do something about it. You can also notice some split lessons where students are divided into groups. This doesn't just have to be 2 groups. Skolaris is very flexible in the setup, so you can create groups that span multiple years even. You can create divisions in which there could be like 12 optional subjects at the same time. It all depends on each school's specific setup. So while this is working, we can have a look at why this quality of the timetable is not 100% yet. The first number is the health, and that's 100%. That means there are no clashes. This timetable can be used immediately. There will be no real world problems, but the quality isn't still at 100%. Let me tell you, it's probably never going to be 100% because some of these constraints that are in by default contradict each other. And it's only a matter of their weight to make sure that Skolaris actually satisfies those constraints that are important for you. But that is an advanced topic and not the subject of this demo. Let me just click one of these to quickly find out what it is. Starting period 2B, that's probably going to be that these guys on Thursday do not start in the morning. Now, in the default setup, this is not hard constraint. So it is allowed to start late. But if I stop this and go to the actual timetable view, try to move this lesson further, you can see it's not allowed to start that very late. We have to start at 9 o'clock latest. Okay. So let's see that let's say that we've created a timetable that we are happy with, and we want to put it back to E-Klase. So go to our list of timetables. We see the one that we've created, and I'm just going to click more options here, and you can see export to E-Klase here. Just going to click it, and Skolaris will provide the API key if you're in the same session that you've done the import, which is the case here. Otherwise, you're going to have to enter your API key again. I'll click export, and Skolaris tells me that data was ported successfully. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Carlis again.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for the brief intro. I'll show you guys. Did you do the export? Sorry, I was just trying to answer some questions in the chat.
Yeah, I did the export.
Okay, so back to Latvian language then. Jā, sveiki. Tad Mārtiņš mums nedaudz iznes cauri Skolaris pusē, kas notiek pēc datu importa. Šis piemērs bija ļoti vienkāršs. Sistēma ir ļoti dziļa ar ļoti daudz dažādiem uzstādījumiem. Var uzstādīt gan kurš pasniedzējs kurās dienās tiek, no cikiem līdz cikiem un tā tālāk. Var norādīt, cik strikts ir šis uzstādījums. Tāpat arī ļoti dziļus priekšmetu uzstādījumus var veikt, kā arī čatā bija jautājums, vai var norādīt, kuriem priekšmetiem ir jānotiek paralēli un tā tālāk, lai tie kārtotos. Jā, var norādīt, kuriem priekšmetiem nevajadzētu notikt viena pēc otra. Skolaris ir iespējams uzstādīt arī vairākas ēkas, norādīt, kuras klases darbojās kurās, vai kuri priekšmeti notiek kurās, ir iespējams uzstādīt, kuram priekšmetam ir jānotiek, kurā telpā, vai gluži pretēji, kuram priekšmetam nav jānotiek, kurā telpā, un tā tālāk. Uzstādījumi ir dziļi un plaši, bet Mārtiņš vēlējās pārāk šodien nebrīz dziļi, lai neapmulsinātu jūs, jo tie matemātiskie vienādojumi tur ir daudz un dažādi, un skolu nepieciešamības arī ir dažādas. Tas, ko es vēlējos tagad parādīt, ir, padalīšos ar ekrānu. Varam šo parādīt. Tātad mēs atkal esam E-klasē. Es atjaunošu lapu. Varam redzēt, ka šeit atrodas šajā Skolaris lapā, kurā mēs runājam, ka var ieiet, atrodas importētie stundu saraksti, kur šeit krājās. Tad Mārtiņš veic šo importu atpakaļ uz E-klasi, un šeit tos var apskatīt. Šobrīd viņi kārtojās. Jaunākais ir augšā, bet tā kā viņi šodien abi divi ir veikti, tad viņi izstās vienā. Šeit būs standartā būs autors, tā kā viņš ir izstrādātājs, tad viņam šobrīd rādās izstās šāds vārds. Tad šeit var apstīt šo stundu sarakstu. Šeit var redzēt tos, kas ir ieimportējies. Un šeit to var pārskatīt un izvēlēties, kurām klasēm vai visām klasēm, ko ar viņām darīt. Šis saraksts vēl nav publicēts. Kad Skolaris pusē nospiež, lai informācija tik nodot uz E-klases, tad veikt importu, tad tā atnāk pie E-klases un šeit glabājās šajā skatā. Vēl nekur nekas nav nonācis līdz dienas grāmatai. Jūs vēl varat apsvērt un pieņemt lēmumus. Tad, ja jūs izvēlaties kuras klases vai visas klases, un tad jūs varat arī norādīt, no kura perioda līdz kuram jūs vēlaties, lai šie dati tiktu publicēti. Mēs esam uzstādījuši, ka lai būtu no šodienas līdz mācību gada beigām, tad publicēt stundu sarakstu e-klasē, un tas tiek publicēts. Un publikācija ir veiksmīga, un mūs aizved uz dienas grāmatu, kur mēs arī varam apskatīties šo stundu sarakstu. Mēs varam aiziet jau uz nākšu nedēļu, nekad mēs jau redzēsim. Šis ir tas saraksts, kuru mēs nu pat importējām no Skolaris. Arī var redzēt, ka šeit esmu autors un to veicu nu pat. Tā. Mēs salīdzinoši raiti esam izgājuši, tā kā Mārtiņš ne pārāk dziļi nedevās savā produktā, tad tīri parādīja iespējas un cik raiti viss ir iespējams, ja ir kvalitīvi dati un prasības ir mazas salīdzinoši. Bet varbūt mēs varam paiet cauri jautājumiem. Es arī droši aicinātu jūs varbūt, ja ir vēlme uzdot patiešo jautājumus, jo tad mums ir iespēja, ka Mārtiņš šeit ir. Viņš sistēmu pārzina daudz labāk nekā šobrīd, vismaz kā mēs e-klases pārstāvji, jo mēs esam viņai vēsti cauri vairākas reizes, bet viņa ir diezgan dziļa. Un iespējas tie ir daudz, un tā kā jūs no savas pieredzes ļoti labi zinat, kad jums kā speciālistiem un iestādēm prasības var arī atšķirties un varbūt ļoti specifisks dzīves situācijas vai pedagogu pieejamības un tā tālāk, tad varbūt jūs varat uzdot savus specifiskos jautājumus patiešo šobrīd, un tad arī mēs varam uzdot tos Martinam. Ja var, tad balss droši, bet tad gan angliski. Ja nē, tad es varu mazliet paiet cauri jautājumiem, kas te ir čata formā. Nav kāds jautājums? Nu, es saprotu, jā, mēs esam 90. Nu, labi, tad es pamēģināšu uzdot veikt kaut kādas atbildes čata formā. Jūs droši tad arī varat arī rakstīt man patiešo jautājumus, kas jums rodas. Un tad varam attīstīt šo sadarbību un iespēju uz priekšu.
Halo, jūs mani dzirdat?
Jā, dzirdam.
Jā. Sakiet, lūdzu, kad būs iespēja patestēt? Vai būs tāda iespēja patestēt pašu, to visu sistēmu, lai saprastu, Paldies.
Jā, droši jūs vienkārši uzrakstiet mums, kaut vai tajā pašā e-klases pastā, tehniskajam atbalsta dienestam, palūdziet, lai jums iedod pieeju Skolarisam, kas ir caur e-klasi, jo es viņu ieteiktu testēt komplektā ar e-klasi, jo viņam var pieslēgties arī atsevišķi, bet tas veiksmīgais tests būs tieši ar šo importu, jo tad jūs redzat, jums jau ir esošie šī gada dati. Tas, ko jūs varētu izdarīt, būtu pieregistrēties Skolarisam un tad caur e-klasi nodot viņiem datus, un tad jūs varēsiet ar tiem datiem no šī gada jau, piemēram, spēlēties. Jums jau ir esošs stundu saraksts, un tad jūs varat paspēlēties ar tiem datiem, kas jums bija šogad pieejami, kā, piemēram, visi žurnāli, kas jums jau ir, darbinieku saraksts jums jau ir, viss jums jau ir, jūs varat ieimportēt šos datus iekš e-klases, iekš Skolaris, atvainojos, un paspēlēties un saprast, vai tiešām, kā Mārtiņš norādīja, Skolaris ir spējīgs jums ģenerēt veiksmīgāku vai specifiskāku stundu sarakstu. Un iespējams, jūs jau tur varat sākt norādīt kaut kādus savus uzstādījumus, kā piemēram, kad kāds skolotājs tiek vai netiek, vai kuri priekšmeti notiks viens pēc otra, vai kuros kabinetos ir cik vietas pieejams un tā tālāk. Jā, droši uzrakstiet, mēs jums pieslēgsim no e-klases pusē Skolaris un pilnvērtīga, tik līdz pieslēdzās Skolarisam, viņš ir pilnvērtīgi pieejams mēnesi bez maksas. Jā, tur ir roka pacelt līgi, jā.
Jā, man ir, dzirdat mani?
Jā.
Man ir tāds jautājums, es tikko tā informācija e-klasē parādījās, es piereģistrējos, un šobrīd es saprotu, ka es vairs nevaru bez maksas neko testēt. Jo tajā brīdī tur bija iespēja savadīt, cik stundas nedēļā ir katrā priekšmetā, bet viņš man neļāva viņa tā arī saglabāt. Es saprotu, ka tur vēl tā funkcionalitāte iespējams nebija līdz galam sakārtot, bet šobrīd man prasa pa maksu to visu darīt.
Jā, atsūtiet man, jā, tas mēnesis ir pagājis, atsūtiet, es domāju, es ar Martinu sarunājuši, atsūtiet droši man e-pastu, kur jūs iereģistrējāt. Tā ir pašā e-klasē, uz to teicu, ka atbalsta dienas droši. Un es domāju, es palūkšu, lai jums vienkārši viņu pagarina.
Paldies.
Jo, man liekas, tas ir vērtīgi tieši paspēlēties ar tiem datiem, kas jau ir. Tas ļoti tad veiksmīgi iespēju var atstāt, saprast, vai tas atbilst tiem pareizi.
Paldies.
Jā, Anna, droši.
Labdien! Sakiet, kādas ir izmaksas Skolarisam? Kādā veidā tā apmaksa notiek, vai viņi iet kopā ar e-klases rēķinu vai?
Nē, tas nav mūsu pakalpojums, tas ir atsevišķs servis, vienkārši mēs esam viņu atraduši kā labs speciālists, lai risinātu šo vajadzību. Tad rēķinu un izmaksas būtu viņa pusē, bet cik es saprotu, šobrīd cena ir 89 centi par skolēnu. Un viņi attiecīgi izrakstīt rēķinu. Jā. Tā. Es redzu, ka bija jautājums par aizvietošanu. Par aizvietošanu ir tā, ka aizvietošanas ir iespējams uzstādīt, norādīt un arī veikt, ja kāds darbinieks ir slims vai kādu citu iemeslu. Bet standartā tas, kā viņi šobrīd to veic un iesaka darīt, ir tad neveikt katru reizi jaunus importus un tā tālāk. Viņi, lai nebojātu visus grafikus, tad viņi piedāvāja, tas bija arī tas, ko Martins minēja, kad ir iespēja pie viņiem saģenerēt šīs izmaiņas ikdienā, un tad līdzīgi kā, piemēram, mums jau šobrīd skolām ir praksa, ka viņas publicē Exceļus vai Google Sheets ar izmaiņu sarakstu. Šeit vienkārši viņi jau pie viņa dod iespēju lietotāji nodot saiti, kur attiecīgi šīs izmaiņas var redzēt un pārskatīt. Tas ir viņš šī brīdējais risinājums. Bet tad atbildes jautājumu, jā, stundu izmaiņas var veidot Skolaris par aizvietošanām un citām lietām. Arī iknedēļā. Lai atrastu labākos risinājumus, brīvās telpas, brīvos pedagogus un tā tālāk.
Bet te bija viens jautājums, tur bija arī ASC timetabling. Tur ir ļoti veiksmīgi var publicēt online šos aizvietošanas. Jā, viņš nav sajūgts ar e-klasi, bet viņi ir redzami uz priekšu, piemēram, uz nedēļu es redzu, un vecāki redz, skolēni redz.
Šeit arī
man nevajag nekāds Exceļs neko taisīt.
Arī šeit to var izdarīt. Tas arī, ko viņš minēja, jā, par to, ka tur jūs publicētu saiti un vecāks ieiet, viņš varētu apstīties attiecīgi.
Vienalga, tur telefonā, datorā.
Jā, protams. Jā,
arī
šis arī ir.
Aizvietošana.
Tieši tas ir tas arī, ko Martins teica, un es arī mēģināju, jā, tas bija mans, varbūt neveiksmīgi paskaidroja, bet jā, ideja, jā, tieši tā. Tad to jums nav
otrs jautājums. Ja es esmu, piemēram, internāta skola, un es, piemēram, esmu atradis ļoti iespēju, ka man ir visi arī internāta skolotāji grafiki, timetabla ļoti labi sadalīti, kā saka, un tur ir tie, kas nav e-klasē. Es viņus neimportēju uz e-klasi, jo man vienkārši viņi ir atsevišķi. Jā. Jo viņi neiet kopā ar e-klasu dabiski, jo tur ir tikai mācības stundas. Jā, bet man ir viss grafiks jau kopējais. Iet, vai tāds arī Skolaris ir iespējams, pilnīgi neimportējot iekšā?
Attiecīgi Skolaris.
Taisīt jaunas priekšmetu, nosacīt priekšmetu stundas, tas tā pēdiņās priekšmetu stundas, jā. Laikus kur es lieku iekšā, piemēram, rīta celšana, dienas internāts, vakara internāts, tur vēl kaut kāds ir pa vidu, ja? Kur attiecīgi piesaista klasi, piesaista skolotājus un tam līdzīgi.
Jā, un tas neiet uz e-klases atpakaļ attiecīgi.
Jā, tas neiet uz e-klases, jo e-klasē vienkārši tāda paredzēta opcija nav. Nav domāta.
Es domāju, ka tas noteikti, ja pie esošās situācijas tam jau tā vajadzētu strādāt. Viņš vienkārši attiecīgi no e-klases jūs iedzīt iekšā to, kas ir pieejams, un tad attiecīgi atpakaļ uz e-klases jūs tāpat šīs datu vienības nevarētu dabūt, jo viņas e-klasē viņam nav, kur viņas likt pretī, nav ko savienot, un tad, bet iekš Skolaris noteikti tas var dzīvot, jā.
Un publicēties.
Jā, jo tas dzīvot tur, jā.
Jo tam man nevajag citu publikāciju, kā tikai, piemēram, šo te, lai vecāki to visu zina skolēni. Ļoti elementāri mūsdienās.
Jā.
Pagaidām, paldies.
Was there anything I can show, perhaps?
I don't know. I'm going through the questions. There was just a question about can you do extra stuff that is not tied to e-klase on Skolaris, which is there are some things, for example, in the morning or in the evening that for example, we can call them classes or subjects, but they are not tied to e-klase because they're not actually in e-klase, and there are some employees who do these things, but they're not from e-klase, and would that be a problem? And then my answer was that it would not. Right?
You just add any kind of data, and they will not have the connection with e-klase, so they won't be showing.
Yeah. Exactly. There's a question: can you define different starts and beginnings of different class groups, I guess? And the answer is it yes or?
Yeah. Let me just share my screen for a brief demonstration there. So when we go to some optimization settings of class groups, you can see here that you can define the behavior that you want. So you can set the desired start and latest start. They can be set at the same time, for example, if you want all of them to start at 8 o'clock or whichever time you put in your time slots. But this configuration can be individual for each class group. It can be the same, but you can also assign different configurations set to each class group or even to different year groups. So every year group can be configured differently. And the same with teachers, when you want to define their teaching limits and so on. You go to a similar configuration screen where you can say how many hours they should spend at school per day, how many teaching periods they can teach consecutively, and so on, including lunch configuration, obviously very important. And this configuration can be different for teachers. Some teachers prefer to have some minimum free days because they're part-time teachers. Some teachers will prefer not to teach that many consecutive periods. Maybe they're more senior. And so every piece of configuration is individual, can be individualized for specific people. But it can also be shared between teachers so that you don't have to enter every single piece of configuration for every single teacher repeatedly. Also, let me just give you a brief demonstration. Let's say this teacher, for some reason, doesn't teach on Tuesday. I go to the teacher very quickly, just choose Tuesday, make it unavailable, return to the timetable that we've created previously. This is not going to be feasible anymore. Okay, let me turn off the, some reason, rooms have started to make problems for me here. Well, usually we have rooms, but at the moment we just turn the rooms off. And you can see the timetable is not healthy anymore because teacher availability is broken. It is this teacher that we've just marked shouldn't teach on Tuesday. Just run the optimization. You can see very quickly it dealt with the new requirement while keeping the quality the same as it was. And it's actually because I didn't let it finish the first time, it's increasing the quality as it goes. So this is the kind of flexibility I was talking about entering new requirements as you go, as you create the timetable. It doesn't have to be done all at once. You can gradually build what you want. You're muted.
Thank you, Martin. I'll try to go through some questions that have popped up, and one was about the data, the transfer of data, and the jurisdictional part of it. It will be on the school side that the school gives permission to transfer the data. The data is stored in Europe, so there isn't a problem. Also, the data that is provided are the personal data that is provided is the teachers' names, because we provide students as well, but the students' names are hashed, so they are not visible, or Skolaris can directly see what are the names of the students. They are just IDs, and we need to give the student IDs because to make sure that their classes don't clash. Right. That's about that. There's a question if the classes are the schedule is in 2-week periods, like every 2 weeks, right? And they're saying, can you program if for a holiday week or something like that? But I don't think that's more of a publishing part of the schedule, right?
Yeah, holiday week. We don't deal with the real calendar, so we suppose the timetable repeats itself every week, but it's not actually visible in Skolaris. In Skolaris, it's just 5 days or 10 days or any number of days per cycle. And you can also specify that a lesson doesn't appear every cycle. So once every 2 cycles, once every 3 cycles, and so on. But if you're concerned that the 5th of March is a holiday, that doesn't concern us because we don't have real dates there. It's just a timetable, and mapping to a real calendar is the work for E-Klase, I suppose.
There is also a question about the language, which is right now Skolaris is in English, but Skolaris can be it's also in Czech and Spanish, but let's go with English right now. And but there is a possibility to translate it into Latvian. That's Martin has provided us with that option. It will be on our side, and we would have to do that. If a lot of schools are on board and there's a big interest, then I think it's a promise on our side that we'll make the time and go through Skolaris and try to slowly translate it into Latvian as well. But that's more on our side.
Yeah, I think with the help of AI, it could be faster than we think.
Yeah, but
Skolaris is definitely ready for it.
Yeah, but from their part, on my side, I think the most important thing would be for the E-Klases language to be incorporated because of how we call stuff, and so that's why I'm scared to just go straight forward with the AI. Then there was from Jānis Amoliņš, there was a question that's an individual question that they had an error in the process. Jā, Jāni, droši sazinies, varam pamēģināt procesam paiet no mūsu puses cauri, neatradīsim problēmas risinājumu, tad sazināsimies ar Martinu. Tā, kas vēl mums te ir par jautājumiem? Ir viens jautājums par 12 klasēm un viņu izvēlēm. Tas izrietētu no tā, ka tas nebūtu īsti Skolaris pusē jautājums, tas būtu izrietētu no tā, kā tiktu sastādīti E-klasē žurnāli. Ja tie jau tur būtu jaukti un grupas jau izveidotas, tad attiecīgi šie dati tādā formā arī ieimportēsies un tiks ņemts vērā, kad bērni ir šiem priekšmetiem, viņi apgūst viņus sajaukti un tā tālāk. Līdz ar to Skolarisam tā pavisam nebūtu problēma. Tā. Okay, there's a question. What are maybe you're more equipped to answer? What are the biggest benefits of Skolaris compared to ASC timetable?
Yeah, I mentioned some of them in the brief presentation. ASC timetables doesn't have many constraints that it can cover, so it doesn't know how good or bad your timetable is. Also, it is quite weak with complex scenarios in finding you a feasible timetable where all the lessons are scheduled. So the strength of algorithms and the actual evaluation, which tells you whether your timetable is good or bad, apart from what you can do by visual inspection, which can take a long time after you change something. So Skolaris will tell you immediately what's broken or what needs to be fixed, and will actually do its best to fix it itself. And it's online.
There's a question, and it's in English, so the newest one. Is it possible to set a lunch break for each class group on different time? I think it's the same answer as setting up the start of the day for different times, right?
So if this lunch break is shorter than an ordinary lesson, that would mean the afternoon lessons would be shifted for each class group by a different time. That would not be possible. That would have to be worked around with some kind of emulation. If the lunch break is fixed for everybody, it can be any number of minutes. But if the lunch break should be staggered, different times for different class groups, then the lunch break has to take the whole period.
Okay, I think. Oh, okay. There are questions. That's good.
What's vocational education?
It's Daigo, vai tas ir šajā gadījumā vocational education ir
Vai profesionāla izglītība, tas ir tehnikums.
Jā. It's professional schools, and vocational schools. Yeah, I think the answer is definitely yes. Obviously, they're bigger and they have a lot more constraints.
I've actually realized one of our references is a vocational school here, but I wasn't sure what it meant. But yes, the answer is yes.
Okay, tad es no savas puses aicinu tiem, kam ir vēlme mazliet paspēlēties, vismaz izdarīt to minimumu līdzīgi kā Martins izdarīja, paskatīties, kādi ir rezultāti, kas ir tas minimums. Jūs redzējāt, neaizņem daudz laika, attiecīgi es no savas puses uzstādītu jums pieeja E-Klasē Skolarisam. Jūs varētu importēt jau esošos kaut vai šī mācību gada kādas nedēļas datus, ar kuriem jūs varētu paspēlēties. Tātad tādā ziņā nedēļas dats, ka stundu skaits, kas jums šobrīd ir tas nepieciešamais, jūs uzskatāt, ir optimālais, to jūs varētu nodot un tad paspēlēties ar šo minimumu, kas būtu vienkārši likt ģenerēt šo timetable un tad pasties, kas sanāk. Protams, varat arī vēl dziļāk pastīties, uzlikt kādas constraints, tad ierobežojumus un tā tālāk, un pasties, kas tad sanāk. Un ja kāds jau ir, protams, bijis aktīvs, kā jau tika vaicāts iepriekš, un jau bija reģistrējies, un tagad ir radusies atkārtot vēlmi pastīties dziļāk, tad droši uzrakstiet man un atsūtiet arī uzreiz savu e-pastu, kurš ir reģistrēts jums Skolarisā, jo Skolaris ir bāzēts uz e-pastu. Tad es palūkšu, lai jums pagarina šo termiņu, un jūs varat paeksperimentēt. Tad, ja šobrīd vairāk jautājumu nav, tad es laikam pateikšos jums par laiku. Visticamāk, mums būs iekšēji pastīsimies, kādas ir iespējas, bet iespējams mēs rīkosim vēl vienu iezvanu, kas varētu būt bez Martina līdzdalības. Martins, protams, spēja atbildēt dziļāk un skaidrāk par lietām, bet bija vēlme no vairākām skolām un skolotāju vadībām un tā tālāk par webināru latviešu valodā. Un tad šo vēlmu mēs arī mēģināsim nodrošināt, ejot uz priekšu. Droši tur es arī izsūtīšu aicinājumus, un ja jums būs vēlme atkārtot piedalīties droši, tikmēr droši rakstiet un centīsimies atbildēt pēc mūsu iespējām, un ja tik labi nezināsim, tad paprasīsim Martinam, kurš varēs skaidrāk atbildēt. Un tad varam iekustināt procesu. Tā kā liels jums paldies par uzmanību, ļoti novērtēju atsaucību un iesaisti. Arī gribētu pateikt paldies. Šāds formāts mums no E-klases puses, kur mēs aicinām un iezvanam un izrunājam iespējas, nav bijis. Mēs arī izskatīsim iespēju, varbūt ko šādu mēs varētu aktivizēt priekš kaut kādiem lielākajām lietām, ko mēs paši kaut vai iekšēji ieviešam, lai to ar tām varētu veiksmīgāk iepazīstināt, nevis tikai ziņas formā apskatīt un iziet cauri scenārijiem, kā arī uzklausīt ieteikumus. Tā kā liels jums paldies. Apzinos, ka jau ir vēls vakars un ļoti novērtēju tiešām. Tā kā paldies jums vēlreiz, un tad jau uz tikšanos, uz sazināšanos, sarakstīšanos. Thank you, Martin. Appreciate it. Thank you.
No, my pleasure.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Tā.